The story begins with a badass assassin chasing his target's car, followed by 2 more cars for his security. He overtakes them with speed, and a bag slips from his back, rolling in front of one of the cars. Prickly hurdles emerge, causing it to flip over. Now, he engages in a fight with his target's bodyguards in the second car and takes them down by shooting at its tires, puncturing it. Finally, he reaches his target. His bodyguard shoots him and fails, but able to get away from assassin. Now the assassin jumped from the bridge. Next we see he is right in front of them. The bodyguard says to run over him, but the driver shoots him, revealing he is an assassin too. They take target to the warehouse. He says, "My men will not leave you," enraging the assassin, and he shots him. They then leave in the car. After completing their mission, they return to their huge apartment. In their daily lives, Kazuki handles all the household chores, while Rei spends his time playing video games. During their work as assassins, Kazuki is the mastermind who plans everything, while Rei is the executor who carries out the tasks of killing. Later, Kazuki went to meet Kutaro at his cafe, and he praised them for flawlessly carrying out the mission. Now they get their next mission and the money for their previous assassination work. Kazuki took half of the money and tells Kutaro to send half to a person he always sends it to. On the way back home, Kazuki is stopped by 2 beautiful girls who lure him inside a bar. Unfortunately, he loses all of his money in gambling and ends up shirtless. He has to return home like that despite feeling cold. The next morning, Kazuki bakes a cake and Rei gets their weapons ready as part of their new mission. Their next target is a human trafficker who is going to appear at a Christmas party in a hotel. They plan to enter the party by pretending to deliver a cake. Meanwhile, a 4-year-old girl named Miri comes out of a train and runs throughout the city asking everyone if they have seen her dad. She even asks a Christmas tree, "Have you seen my papa?" Her whole day passes like this and night falls. Miri arrives outside a hotel and enters, hoping to find her dad there. At the same time, Kazuki also enters the hotel disguised as Santa to get their job done. He manages to trick the guards into letting him into the elevator to deliver a cake for the party he's made. Suddenly, Miri sees the cake and runs towards it, entering the elevator along with Kazuki, ruining their plan. He panics to see her, but cannot bring himself to deny her request to taste the cake. Miri eagerly eats the cake and asks him, "Have you seen my dad?" And as he says no, the elevator doors open, and Miri runs out, causing suspicion. Rei is forced to shoot the bodyguards from where he is hiding under the cake trolley, as Kazuki runs after Miri to stop her from causing more trouble. Rei runs down the hallway to take out the other guards. He then hides behind the hallway section and skillfully snipes the more guards. He breaks the door and jumps inside. Kazuki and Miri also enter the party, but she slips from his grip. The guests run out terrified, while Rei heads straight for the head of the human trafficking ring. Kazuki loses Miri in the crowd, only for her to show up next to their target, asking him if he is her father, but he takes her as hostage instead. Rei suggests shooting the target through Miri, but Kazuki says no, fearing for her life. He runs up to save her, using a tray as a shield from henchmen firing. He tears off his beard and declares himself as her father. He tells Miri to jump into his arms. Miri jumps towards Kazuki, while Rei shoots the target, killing him, and leaves from there by shooting through the window. Once the mission is over, Kazuki and Rei end up bringing Miri with themselves. On reaching home, Kazuki feels happy seeing Miri looking so cute while sleeping. In the next morning, we see Miri banging on Kazuki's door, desperately needing to use the bathroom. As he comes out, she cries out, "Papa, I gotta pee." Kazuki rushes downstairs while holding her and tosses her into the washroom. But the toilet seat is too high, so she asks him to lift her up. As he helps her, she asks him to lift her again for hand washing at the sink. Afterwards, Kazuki is breaking the eggs to cook breakfast, and Miri says, "I also wanna do that." But he says no because the counter is too high for her to reach. She makes an angry face and walks away. While he was busy cooking, he sees Miri trying to bring a chair to reach the counter, but she ends up falling with it. Their noise reaches Rei's room, and he comes out to check the commotion. Kazuki quickly hands Miri over to Rei, hoping he can distract her. He tells Miri to go play with Rei, and her eyes shine brightly with excitement. Rei allows Miri to look at his video game collection, which she promptly messes up. When breakfast is ready, Kazuki gives it to Miri. She was about to eat, but he tells her to say thank you for the food before eating, and he also stops Rei. After praying, Miri starts eating the breakfast, looking very happy, because the food is delicious. Now, they talk about the photos they found in Miri's bag, which show that the target they killed at the Christmas party was her real dad. Miri's mom left a note too. She's angry at Miri's dad for leaving her, and wants him to take care of Miri now. But since her dad is dead, they want to send Miri back to her mom. However, when Kazuki tries to ask her, Miri doesn't know where she lives because she's just a kid. He asks, "Where did you come from?" She replies, "From far away." He then asks, "Who brought you here?" She says, "No one, I came here by walking a lot and then taking a train." The only helpful information she gives is that her mother sings at her job. To find Miri's mom, Kazuki says we have to seek the help of Kyutaro, and tells Rei to stay at home with Miri, but he refuses. Curious about what Kazuki is doing on his laptop, Miri climbs onto the table and ends up spilling the coffee and falling on it. Kazuki opens the TV for Miri after changing her clothes and tells her, "We will come back soon, just enjoy until then." After leaving Miri in the apartment, they head to Kyutaro's cafe. They convince Kyutaro to research their target's girlfriends, hoping to locate Miri's mother without revealing Miri's existence to Kyutaro, who is already angry at how badly they carried out the Christmas party mission. But they still receive their next mission. As they leave Kyutaro's cafe, a mysterious man named Ajino walks in, who requests to be informed about upcoming jobs. Rei and Kazuki return home and find a messy house with all the utensils scattered on the floor and the sofa flipped over. Rei grabs his weapon, ready to defend as they think there might be an intruder. While checking the house, they discover that Miri made the mess while playing hide and seek alone. She comes out upon hearing them as she is still in a playful mood, and then runs away from there. While having dinner, Kazuki reads about their next target, a drug kingpin, who lives in a well-guarded mansion, which will make getting to him difficult. He asks Rei if he has any ideas for getting in. Rei replies, "Charge in the front and kill them all." This startles Kazuki. Just then Miri approaches him and rudely comments on Kazuki's cooking and runs off to play hide and seek. Kazuki starts looking for her, and when he finds her, she runs and hides somewhere else. He finds her again, but she runs away once more. Rei says, "You're good at hide and seek," which gives him an idea. They then discuss the plan to break into their new target's house, and Miri gets mad as Kazuki stops playing with her. After gathering supplies for their mission, Rei and Kazuki prepare to leave, but have no idea what to do with Miri. Kazuki tries to bribe her with snacks, and she's delighted to have so many treats. Just when they think they've bribed her and walks away, Miri runs behind them. He shuts the door, but she cries loudly, attracting the attention of their neighbors. So, they decide to bring her along. The plan is for Rei to wait in the backyard, while Kazuki pretends to be a security system repairman to lure out the target. However, just as Kazuki is about to enter, Miri honks the horn and says she has to pee, but he urges her to hold it while they proceed with the mission. He enters the mansion. He goes in the security room, shocks the guard, and then shut off the CCTV. Afterward, he starts setting up explosives in the target's mansion. Meanwhile, Miri urgently rings the doorbell and asks a henchman if she can use the bathroom. He allows her in, but she spots Kazuki and draws attention to him, saying, "Papa, I found you. Are we playing hide and seek?" "Okay, I'm in." Then she runs away. The henchman chases Kazuki, who in turn chases Miri when she runs away to start a game of hide and seek. Kazuki starts pressing buttons and all the explosives start detonating, so they can't catch him. While Kazuki is still running to catch Miri, they end up in the target's room, surrounded by security. When all seems lost, the henchmen are taken down one by one, and we see Rei shooting from the backyard. Kazuki protects Miri, while Rei overwhelms security with his insane accuracy, taking them down one by one. Now, Kazuki runs, holding Miri, and takes Rei with him too, who is still shooting while Miri is in his other hand. They manage to escape on a speedboat, but Kazuki scolds both of them for ruining the mission. Kyutaro calls them and fires them from the mission, but informs them he has located a woman likely to be their target's girlfriend. They are relieved, thinking it might be Miri's mother, so they will soon be rid of Miri and can get back to work. Meanwhile, Ajino succeeds in killing the kingpin and his guards. As the boss weep, pleading for mercy, Ajino asks him to utter his final words. The boss says he'd pay anything to him, but Ajino shoots him. In the next scene, we see an injured dog, and his child cries out, "Dad, stop." Man says, "Don't call me Dad, I am your boss." Just then Rei awakens when he hears Miri calling him to breakfast. Then she jumps on his stomach, snapping him back to reality, and he realizes it was just a bad dream. During breakfast, Miri happily enjoys her favorite meal of cornflakes with milk. Rei, finding it to his liking, begins eating it fastly. As Kazuki converses with Rei, Miri comes and climbs onto his lap. He shows her some bananas and asks if she wants them instead, so she will get off his lap and he can finish eating. Seeing Kazuki interact happily with Miri, Rei questions whether he really wants to return her. But Kazuki says they can't take care of a kid because of the type of lives they live. He then goes to meet Kyutaro, who gives him the address of Miri's mother, and hints at knowing about Miri without directly mentioning her. Later, at the park, Miri digs up dirt and forms soil balls from it. Kazuki and Rei share memories of their childhood while talking about Miri. Kazuki reveals that he never met his parents, which led him down this path. While Rei seems to have bad relationship with his parents, Miri approaches them and offers a soil ball to Kazuki, saying, "These are dumplings." He takes one ball and she says, "Eat it, Papa." He tells her, "Don't call me Papa in front of people." As she looks around, there are no people nearby. Now, she is about to force him to eat it when a vendor comes outside the playground, and she runs toward it, as he was selling some sweet potatoes. She then calls them to buy some potatoes for her. They play a game of rock, paper, scissors. Rei loses the game over who would buy it for Miri. Watching Rei buying sweet potatoes for Miri, Kazuki doubts if he's truly cut out for fatherhood. Miri comes back and offers him some sweet potato, saying, "Let's share it, Papa," which brings tears to Kazuki's eyes. Later, while Kazuki was away getting some drinks, Miri runs toward the swing to play. While she was playing, a child protection officer approached her as she was alone. He asked her who she was with. She points toward Rei, and the officer asked if he is her father, but Rei denies it. Just then, Kazuki returns and tells the officer that he is her father. His earlier instructions to Miri not to call him Papa in public backfire, as she refuses to do so. Kazuki takes her in his arms and convinces the officer that he is indeed her father, and walks away from there. He tells Miri that it's okay to call either him or Rei Papa in certain situations, and tells Rei to say he's her dad as well. At night, Kazuki tries to scare Miri, but she just laughs in his face. When the lights are off, Miri peeks into Rei's room but finds out he is not there. She opens the bathroom and finds Rei in his bathtub. He says that he sleeps there in case of an ambush. She wants to sleep with him to feel safe and jumps inside with him. She starts playing with him and tries to make him smile, but he says he wasn't raised that way until she finally falls asleep in the tub. The next day, Kazuki and Rei take Miri back to her mother. Again, Rei asks if he's sure to return Miri, and Kazuki says this is the right thing to do. As they arrive, Kazuki goes ahead to check her mother's workplace, leaving Rei and Miri in the car. Inside the bar, he encounters her mother practicing her singing. Just then, Kazuki gets attacked by her boyfriend, who is the bar manager, and he also slaps her. However, Kazuki knocks the man to the ground. This angers the man, and he starts attacking him with a broken bottle. Kazuki gets a scar during the fight, but he punches the man hard in the face, causing him to run away. Miri's mother is upset by the incident but still offers to treat Kazuki's cut on his face. Meanwhile, Miri forces Rei to take her to a nearby park, forcing him to play with her. She's having a great time. Then, she forces him to play on the seesaw with her, and Rei quietly accepts his fate. Next, Miri waves to Rei from the top of the slide. People nearby wonder what kind of father he is for not waving back, so he eventually waves her back. Afterwards, the two sits on a nearby bench. He asks her why she referred to Kazuki as Papa, and not her real father. She replies that a Papa is the person who saves you when you're in trouble. This makes Rei think about his own father. His father kicks him and says, "You are so weak." Disappointed in Rei, he says, "Kill or be killed." Rei tries to talk and calls him dad, but he responds with, "Don't call me dad, I am your boss." As he comes back to reality, he realizes that he's lost sight of Miri. Back at the bar, Kazuki tells Miri's mother that he found Miri and is here to return her. She says, "I don't want her back, Miri made my life miserable." Kazuki questions her, "How can you say that? You're her mother, and she always tells me how much you love her and make the most delicious hamburger steaks in the world." She laughs and says, "Those cheap steaks, I bought 3 packs for just 200 yen. I don't know why she likes such a cheap thing when her father is so rich." Kazuki gets frustrated and asks, "Why don't you want to take her responsibility?" She tells him that Miri's dad kicked her out and had affairs with other women too. "When he never wanted to take my responsibility, why would I take hers?" Kazuki says, "You are just being as irresponsible as her father, she is your child." This angers Miri's mom, and she says, "You never raised a child all alone. You'll never understand my pain. My career got ruined as most of the time went into Miri's care," and she angrily throws all the bottles away. So Kazuki leaves from there, disgusted that a parent could hate their own child. Meanwhile, Rei searches for Miri in the park and eventually finds her talking to 2 police officers, who believe she's lost. They try to take Miri to the police station, but she doesn't want to go with them. Rei considers letting them take her, but when Miri calls out, "Save me, Papa," he decides to be better than his own father. He remembers her words, "Papa is the one who saves us." He approaches the police and tells them to let her go. They ask, "Are you her guardian?" And he says, "No, I am her Papa." Sitting down, he extends his hand and says, "Come, Miri." Seeing this, Miri happily runs towards him, calling him Rei Papa. Holding her, he says, "Let's go home, Miri." On their way back to the car, they meet up with Kazuki. Miri runs towards him, excited to tell him about spending the day playing with Papa Rei. Rei wonders what's next, and Kazuki says they should grab dinner on the way home, confirming it will be a meal for all 3 of them. Later, Kazuki gives Mary some hamburger steaks, saying her mom sent them. Mary enjoys them and says they are tastier than Kazuki Papa's hamburgers. Ray also liked them. Kazuki is happy that he's able to make same streaks that Mary's mom used to give her. That night, Mary insists on them all sleeping together despite Ray and Kazuki's reluctance. They find themselves cramped in one small bed, with Mary sleeping contentedly and Kazuki uncomfortably squeezed beside her. He asks Ray to move a bit, but Ray is already asleep. Next morning, Mary wants to help Kazuki pour detergent, but she spills a little. She tries again, and just when Kazuki thinks she's got it right, she ends up spilling a lot. Later, while Ray is on the treadmill, Mary climbs on it, accidentally making it go faster. She laughs as Ray has to run faster to keep up. In the kitchen, Mary tries to help but falls and makes a mess. Kazuki is surprised when he sees Mary using the vacuum cleaner on clothes. Now she says sorry for filling the bathroom with bubbles. Even when Ray is watering the plants, Mary somehow makes a mess. Exhausted, Kazuki and Ray take her to the park. While there, they spot a daycare van, which gives them an idea to enroll Mary in daycare so that they can work without her interference. Kazuki starts Googling all the nearby daycares and then begins calling them, but unfortunately, some of them are not accepting new students as they're full, while others told them they should go to the government office first to register Mary, making Kazuki furious, while Mary is already set because she's eager to attend daycare. Kazuki and Ray take Mary to the government office to get assistance enrolling her in daycare school. When they got there, the line was still serving numbers 103 and 116. But the number they got was 142. After waiting for so long, finally, their number is called. At the counter, Kazuki looks tired as he talks to the staff about all the paperwork needed to officially register Miri, and by completing the paperwork, she can start school soon. Back at home, Kazuki is concerned about submitting government documents due to his background as an assassin. Ray gives him the idea that they can enroll Miri by giving a bribe. Just then, Miri comes running towards Kazuki as he agrees with Ray's idea and is about to throw away all the papers. She jumps and bumps her head into him, knocking him down. She starts crying and says, "Papa, you lied to me, you said I was going to daycare." So, he decides to obtain forged documents as a solution. Ray reassures Miri, "Don't worry, Kazuki's getting you into daycare." After finishing everything, he decides to submit it the next day with Miri and Ray. The paperwork is sealed, showing that Miri is now officially registered and can join their chosen daycare centers. They took Miri to their first choice daycare, and the interviewer asked if you both are her father. Miri replied, "They both are my fathers. Kazuki Papa is good at cooking and did forgeries to get me into daycare, and Ray Papa is good at firing." Kazuki was shocked and said, "She's talking about a toy gun." But Miri said, "No, it was a real one," and started revealing about their work. So, Kazuki and Ray took over and left from there. They told Miri to let them handle the talking in the next interviews. During the next interview, the instructors ask Miri about her fathers. She praises them, saying they don't do any bad business at all. Kazuki quickly covers their tracks, saying they are something like city cleaners. And as the interview goes well, the instructors tell them that she is accepted in school. Miri happily gives a high five to both as she gets admission. At home, Kazuki and Ray celebrated Miri's daycare approval with an energy drink. They then read the daycare's handbook to find a list of items they needed to purchase for Miri. The next day, they took Miri to the department store to buy daycare supplies. Miri's eyes lit up as she looked at all the expensive and attractive things in the store. Kazuki told Ray that it's important to make a good impression on ordinary people. He believes that buying name-brand items will help establish dominance and impress others. They buy a lot of things for Miri. Miri asks Kazuki when she will start going to daycare, and he says, "From tomorrow." Miri thanks him as she is so excited about it. While reviewing the handbook, Ray notes that it says they are required to write Miri's name on all of the goods they purchase for her daycare. This infuriates Kazuki, and he says, "I won't do that, writing names on all the items, this is gibberish." But when Ray says, "Don't you want her to establish dominance?" This enrages Kazuki even more, and he leaves to buy a sewing kit. Later, Miri wants to write her name too, like Ray did. When Kazuki returns, he sees that she has ruined her expensive t-shirt by writing on it. He shivers with worry, asking, "Do you realize how much that shirt costs?" Now, Kazuki injured his finger again while sewing Miri's name. Just then, he notices Ray has fallen asleep and gets frustrated, wondering how he'll finish the work alone. On Miri's first day, they arrive overdressed and catch the attention of other parents as they enter the school. The caretaker, Miss Anna, greets them and compliments Miri, saying, "You look so cute in your outfit." Mothers exchange messages on their phones, calling Ray and Kazuki two hot dads in their group chat. Anna takes them inside the daycare and gives them a tour to explore the school and see all the equipment and facilities Miri will be using from that day on. Miss Anna tells them to note everyday routine. Kazuki says, I wrote them. Anna reads the diary. I am exhausted from staying up whole night, putting her name on everything. I just need rest. She realizes he has written events from his day. He gets embarrassed when she says, you have to write Mary's routine. He then gives her Mary's lunchbox, but she says, we provide our own lunch here. Rei comments, we stayed up all night for this. Kazuki says, you slept. Now, Kazuki and Rei leave Miri at daycare. Kazuki feels so happy as if they've completed a mission. During playtime, Miri asks a boy, can I play with you? He says no and runs away. Miri struggles to connect with the other children, who refuse to play with her. Meanwhile, Kazuki and Rei are at Kutaro's cafe. Kazuki asks him to give them some work, and he says, I'll think about it. When they pick her up later, Miri doesn't look happy after attending daycare. As she continues to attend daycare, she seems sadder every time Kazuki comes to pick her up. One evening, Kazuki arrives early and notices Miri sitting alone. Miss Anna approaches him and tells that Miri's clothes make her stand out too much. She suggests a different store where they can find ordinary clothing. They take Miri on a shopping trip to buy more normal clothing. As they enter the store, they are surprised and excited by how cheap the items are. Miri asks to buy some toys, and Kazuki says, you can buy as much as you want, things are at a very cheap rate. Back at home, they are satisfied as they did a lot of shopping. Miri excitedly asks Kazuki, can I wear this outfit tomorrow? And Kazuki says, sure, but you'd better bring it back covered in mud. The next morning, Kazuki drops her off at school in a more normal outfit. Miss Anna says, this outfit really suits you, Miri, and signals her approval to Kazuki with a thumbs up. He sticks around for a while to help her make friends, playing with a ball with Miri, which attracts other children who want to join and play with her. Now they all start playing, and Miri looks so happy. In the evening, when Kazuki comes to pick her up, Miri tells him that she had fun today. Later, Miri is surprised by Rei and Kazuki with her own bedroom. She loves it so much. She happily hugs and thanks both of them. In the next scene, while Rei and Miri are playing a game, Kazuki appears worried as he looks at their expenses. They have spent a lot of money on buying things for Miri. He says, we're going broke, and Rei asks, why are we going broke? Kazuki cries, because we are not working. But Rei and Miri keep playing without worry. Kazuki then says, no earning means no games for Rei, and Rei makes a gloomy face. He continues, no pudding for Miri, and she looks shocked. Kazuki says, it's time for the last resort. And he goes to Kutaro to beg for some work. Not trusting them with assassinations, Kutaro gives them several smaller missions. Kazuki simply accepts it and says they will carry it out anyhow. Back at home, as they were about to start their work, the phone starts ringing with the daycare's number. Kazuki receives the call and is informed that the daycare will be temporarily closed for a week due to a flu outbreak. He's shocked because Miri will be at home and interfere with their work. When they pick up Miri, she runs and jumps at Kazuki, excited to go home. On the way, Rei asks him, what will we do about our job? And Kazuki says, one of us will have to stay at home to look after Miri. Just then, Miri excitedly asks them, what is your job? As she is assigned homework to learn about her parents' job. Kazuki tries to dodge her question, while Rei attempts to leave. Miri blocks his path and curiously asks, are you going to your job? He turns and head back home without answering. And Miri pleads, take me to your job, I want to know. While Miri is sleeping at night, Kazuki looks exhausted after trying to work at night and taking care of Miri during the day for 3 straight days. Rei is also tired. He comes and rests his head on the table. Kazuki grabs his hairs to wake him up, saying, don't sleep, we haven't completed the work yet. The next morning, while Miri is enjoying her favorite cartoon show, Kazuki asks Rei to look after Miri as he's going out. As Kazuki is leaving, Miri says, I also want to come with you. He replies, no, I am going for my job. Play with Rei until I return. Miri makes an angry face. However, Rei falls asleep and doesn't wake up when Miri tries to get his attention. So, she decides to sneak out and secretly follow Kazuki to discover more about his job. On the way, she sees a beautiful woman and tries to walk like her. As she continues following Kazuki, Miri signals to stay quiet when another woman notices her. She then peeks at Kazuki from behind the board, but as she spots a dog, she gets distracted and stops to pet it. This causes her to lose sight of Kazuki. She then starts running to find him. When Rei wakes up, he comes out and doesn't find Miri. He checks her room, but she's missing. Meanwhile, Kazuki is at Kutaro's cafe when he receives a call from Rei. He tells him that Miri is not at home, she's gone. Kazuki panickingly cries out, are you kidding? While Kutaro listens silently. Now we see Miri, who reaches a point where many paths diverge, and people passing by from that area are looking at her. Kazuki hurries back home, and asks Rei how long Miri has been missing. But Rei doesn't know anything. He then begins searching every corner of his home but doesn't find her. As they confirm that Miri is missing, they start searching for her, while Rei checks in her daycare. Kazuki goes to the riverside area. They even ask people if someone had seen her. Kazuki then arrives at the park, where he sees a girl and runs after her, but she is not Miri. In the meantime, Miri reaches in front of Kyutaro's cafe where she bumps into Ajino, who grabs her up, but lets her go after she says sorry. Just then Kyutaro comes out and brings her inside. Kazuki starts to fear the worst things happening to Miri, not until they arrive at Kyutaro's cafe and discover her there. Miri calls them Papa excitedly after seeing the two of them, which perplexes Kyutaro.